Friends, let me welcome you to one of the most exciting seasons of your life. Because whether you realize it or not, you are standing at the starting line of a career that can change everything: your income, your confidence, your future, and the future of your family. Now, here's the interesting part. Most of you are worried about the wrong thing. You're worried about your lack of experience. You're worried about what to say when someone asks, "How long have you been in real estate?" You're worried about people not trusting you because you're new. And I want to tell you something today that may surprise you. Being new is not your weakness. In fact, it can become your greatest advantage if you know how to sell it properly. I'm Wes Gilly, and I've been selling houses for over 20 years, and I still do today. In fact, I showed houses to a couple just last night. During my time in real estate, I've learned that success is not about what you lack. It's about how you position what you have. Let me give you a simple philosophy. You do not have to be the most experienced person in the room. You only have to be the most valuable person in the room. Let me tell you a story. A few years ago, there was a young agent in a small town, brand new, license still warm, no listings, no closings, no experience, just like many of you. One afternoon, she met a couple in an open house. They were nervous, first-time buyers, asked a lot of questions, the kind of questions that make experienced agents impatient. How does earnest money work? What happens if inspection finds something? What do we pay and when? Now, the young agent didn't know every answer, but she did something powerful. She leaned in and said, "Those are great questions. I remember when I first started learning this process, I had the exact same questions. Let's walk through this together." And instead of trying to impress them, she began drawing the process on a yellow legal pad, step by step: offer, inspection, appraisal, closing. The couple relaxed. They said, "No one has ever explained it to us this way." Now, here's the interesting part. 2 days later, the couple met with a top agent in town. 20 years of experience, hundreds of closings, big name, big reputation. And during that meeting, the agent kept saying things like, "Oh, that's standard. Don't worry about that. We'll handle it." But the couple left feeling small, confused, intimidated. So they called the young agent and they said, "We want to work with you." She was shocked. She asked, "Can I ask why? There's much more experienced agents out there." And they said something she would never forget. They said, "Because you didn't make us feel stupid. You made us feel safe." So here's the lesson. People do not hire the most experienced agent. They hire the person that makes them feel understood. They hire the person that makes them feel confident. They hire the person who listens. And here's the magic. That one transaction turned into 5 referrals in the first year. Those 5 turned into dozens over the next few years. And today, that young agent is one of the top agents in her market. Not because she knew everything, but because she cared enough to explain. You see, when you're new, you're closer to your client's fears than any experienced agent. You remember what it feels like to not know the process. You remember the confusion. You remember the anxiety. And if you lean into that, if you use that, you will connect faster than the person who has forgotten what it feels like to be new. So don't hide your newness. Use it. Because people don't need a walking encyclopedia. They need a guide. And sometimes the best guide is the one who just walked the trail. So how do you gain trust when you have no track record? Well, let's talk about it. Here's 8 principles. First, you must understand what people are really buying. They're not buying your years of experience. They're buying certainty. They're buying trust. They're buying someone who will care more about their outcome than anyone else. You see, most experienced agents rely on their past. They say, "I've been doing this for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. Let me ask you, does that guarantee that your client will get the best service today? Of course not. Some experienced agents are tired. Some are complacent. Some are distracted. Some are simply running on autopilot. But you have something they don't. You have urgency. You have hunger. You have something to prove. And hunger is a powerful marketing message if you know how to communicate it. Here's the key. You do not sell your lack of experience. You sell your commitment. Instead of saying, "I'm new," say something like this: "I may be newer in the business, but it means that you will get my full attention. I am building my reputation right now, and your success is everything to me." Now that's powerful. Because people do not want perfection. They want effort. They want someone who will fight for them. So let me give you the second principle. Borrow competence and confidence. If you don't yet have a track record, simply borrow one. You're not alone in this business. You have a broker, you have a company, you have a team, you have systems, you have mentors. So when someone asks, how long have you been in real estate? You can say, I work with a company that has helped hundreds of families, and I personally bring the newest strategies, technology, and energy to every client. You see, you're not pretending, you're positioning. Great leaders understand leverage. You do not have to do everything yourself. You connect your clients to the best possible resources, and that builds confidence. Point 3, outwork your insecurity. Most new agents try to hide their inexperience. Big mistake. The way to eliminate insecurity is not to hide it, it's to prepare. Study contracts, study the process, preview homes, practice conversations, role play, learn the market. Here's a practical tip that I've given to agents that I've worked with in the past, something you can do in the next 24 hours. Ask your broker if they've got time for you to submit them a practice offer. Then go into the MLS, pick out a house, and make an offer that you would expect a client to make on that particular house. Prepare it just like you would, submit it to your broker, and ask them if they will counter that offer like they might if it was an actual offer. And go back and forth until you have a executed contract. And if your broker is too busy, then ask an experienced agent in your office and then consider whether or not you're at the right brokerage, because your broker should not be too busy to help you. Anyway, go through that process a couple of times and you'll know how long it takes to fill out a contract. You'll know what kind of responses you'll get to what kind of offers. And if you become the most prepared person in the room, your confidence will not come from years. It will come from competence. And let me tell you, competence creates courage. You may not know everything, but you can know more than your client. You already know more than your client, actually. And when you know more, you become more valuable. Principle number 4, tell the truth. Strategically, but tell the truth. One of the greatest selling tools in the world is honesty. When someone asks, are you new? You do not say no. You say yes, and that's exactly why you'll get the best service. Here's a phrase you should work into your conversation toolbox. Yes, and. Yes, and newer agents return phone calls faster. Yes, and new agents follow up better. Yes, and newer agents are more available. Yes, and new agents are more motivated. You see, honesty disarms fear. People trust truth, and trust closes more deals than experience. Here's principle number 5. Become the guide, not the expert. You are not the hero of your client's story. They are. Your job is not to know everything. Your job is to lead people through a process. If a question comes up and you don't know the answer, here's the magic phrase. That's a great question. Let me find the best answer for you. You don't lose credibility when you say that. You gain it. Because professionals do not guess. They verify. And your clients don't want to know it all. They want a problem solver. A guide only has to be a few steps ahead of the person they are guiding. Point 6, sell your future, not your past. The experienced agent sells what they've done. You sell what you're becoming. Say things like, I'm building a business based on relationships and referrals. I'm looking for clients for life, not just one transaction. That is powerful because people want to feel important. They want to feel like they matter. They want to feel like they're part of your journey, and they want to feel like you are invested in theirs. When you include people in your story, they become invested in your success, and invested people refer. Principle 7, energy beats experience every time. People are attracted to enthusiasm. They want to work with someone who believes in what they do. Conviction sells. If you walk into a room with excitement, preparation, and passion, you will outshine the tired professional who has done this for 20 years without joy. Enthusiasm communicates confidence. Confidence builds trust, and trust creates business. Now, here's the final and most important thought. Your reputation starts today, not when you have your first closing, not when you have your first testimonial. Today, every conversation, every follow-up, every promise kept, every deal handled. You are not just trying to get a deal, you're building a brand. Because the greatest advantage in this business is not experience, it is relationships, and relationships compound. Let me leave you with this. There will be a day when someone asks you, how did you become so successful in real estate? And you will smile and say, I started when I had nothing. No experience, no track record, just hunger and commitment. And I treated every client like they were my only client. So don't apologize for being new. Use it, leverage it, own it, because the person who is willing to learn faster, care more, and work harder will always outperform the person who simply has more years. Your future is not determined by your past. It is determined by your discipline. So go out there, build relationships, serve people, keep your promises. And in a few short years, the things you fear today, your lack of experience, will become the story that inspires others.